February 15, 2003, Antwerp, Belgium, 7:24 a.m. Vault manager Hans de Witt descended to the basement of the Antwerp Diamond Center the same way he had every Monday morning for 11 years. He badged through the security corridor, he walked past the Doppler radar panel, he rounded the corner to Vault B1. The door was open. He stepped inside. Every single safe deposit box, all 160 of them, had been ripped open. The shelves were bare, the floor was clean. $109 million in diamonds, gold, jewelry, and cash, gone. 5 independent alarm systems, not one of them had triggered. Security footage from the entire weekend, blank. No forced entry, no sign of a struggle, no witnesses. For 48 hours, the Belgian federal police had nothing. Not a fingerprint, not a face, not a single lead. And then a farmer walking his property in the woods outside the city found a shallow pit covered with dead leaves. Inside the pit was a bag of discarded garbage, takeout containers, food wrappers, and a half-eaten pizza box. On that pizza box was a fingerprint, and that fingerprint had a name. Today, I am going to show you exactly how 5 professional thieves spent 4 years building the most perfectly planned robbery in European history, and how one careless decision with a pizza box brought the entire operation down. Because here is what makes this story truly extraordinary. Most of the money was never found. To this day, over $83 million in diamonds and cash remains missing, and the man convicted of leading the heist still claims he was set up. Stick around, because the truth of what happened inside that vault is far stranger than the robbery itself. To understand the scale of what was stolen, you first need to understand what Antwerp actually is. The Antwerp Diamond District occupies 4 city blocks, 4 blocks, and within those 4 blocks, every single year, more than $26 billion worth of diamonds are traded, cut, polished, and shipped to every corner of the planet. 80% of the world's rough diamonds pass through this one city. The Antwerp Diamond Center, where Vault B1 sat, was considered the most secure non-governmental facility in all of Europe. The vault itself operated behind 5 independent security systems running simultaneously. First, a magnetic field sensor. Any metallic object approaching the vault door would trigger an immediate alarm. Second, a Doppler radar array mounted inside the vault ceiling. Any movement inside the vault, any movement at all, would trigger it. Third, a seismic sensor embedded in the vault floor. A vibration no stronger than a footstep would set it off. Fourth, a photoelectric beam running across the vault interior. Break the beam with so much as a hand, alarm. Fifth, an infrared heat detector. A human body generating thermal radiation inside that vault space would register within seconds. And behind all 5 systems, a vault door rated by the manufacturer to withstand 12 continuous hours of mechanical attack. This was not a bank vault. This was an engineering problem that was supposed to have no solution. And yet, on a 3-day holiday weekend in February 2003, 5 men solved it. His name was Leonardo Notarbartolo, 60 years old. Italian national, diamond merchant, at least that is what his business card said. For 3 years before the robbery, Notarbartolo had rented a legitimate office on the 4th floor of the Antwerp Diamond Center. He attended industry events. He maintained pleasant professional relationships with neighboring merchants. He paid his rent on time, every month, for 36 consecutive months. What his colleagues did not know was that Notarbartolo was the operational commander of a group investigators would later call the School of Turin, a crew of Italian professional thieves with decades of experience across high-value European targets. With a legitimate keycard, Notarbartolo could move freely through the building at reasonable hours. Over 3 years, he had photographed every camera blind spot, mapped every electrical conduit feeding the alarm junction boxes, timed every security rotation down to the minute. Back in Italy, his team was doing something that should genuinely disturb you. Using publicly available technical documentation, documents anyone could have obtained, they reverse-engineered the magnetic field sensor protecting the vault door. They built a working replica. And then they built a practice vault and spent months drilling the bypass sequence until they could execute it in the dark without speaking in under 4 minutes. By January 2003, they had the combination to the vault. How they obtained it has never been officially confirmed. Notarbartolo has suggested a corrupt insider. Investigators have suggested a security audit document obtained through social engineering. What is confirmed is this: they had it. And on Valentine's Independence Day weekend, the single longest holiday closure of the year, they move. Friday evening, February 14th, the building empties. The crew enters through the basement parking garage using a duplicated keycard. Their first move, the cameras. A fast-drying polymer spray, the same compound used in legitimate lens cleaning applications, coated each basement camera lens without triggering the lens tamper alarm. Cameras still appeared to be recording. They were recording a clean, static image. Their second move, the magnetic sensor. They had machined a custom aluminum screen, fabricated by hand to match the exact dimensions of the sensor housing, and slid it into position in front of the sensor array. The field still registered. It simply could no longer detect what was moving through it. The vault door opened on the first attempt. What happened over the next 5 hours represents the most methodical theft ever documented in European criminal history. Working in near total silence, with handheld UV lights to avoid triggering the infrared detector, 5 men cut open all 160 deposit boxes using industrial bolt cutters and a battery-powered drill, neither of which would register on the seismic sensors from inside a vault with 2-foot concrete walls. They photographed the contents of each box before removing them, every single one. Investigators later said this detail was one of the most unsettling aspects of the entire case, suggesting either pre-existing knowledge of what each box contained or a sophisticated criminal intelligence operation that had been running in parallel for years. By 3 a.m. on Saturday, the vault was empty. The crew restored the camera lenses, removed the magnetic screen, relocked the vault door behind them, and drove east into the Belgian countryside. For 48 hours, the most secure vault in Europe had been robbed, and nobody knew. Here is what breaks the perfect crime. During the stakeout nights leading up to the robbery, the crew had been eating takeout food in a wooded area outside the city. Rather than remove their garbage entirely, they buried it in a shallow pit and covered it with leaves. A local farmer discovered the pit 2 days after the robbery while walking his property boundary. Inside the bag, food containers, takeout wrappers, and the surveillance video tapes the crew had removed from the building's recording system before leaving. They had destroyed the footage they appeared in. They had not destroyed the tapes that showed their faces before they noticed the cameras. The pizza box carried a partial fingerprint registered in the Italian criminal database. Leonardo Notarbartolo was arrested at his home in Trani, Italy, 19 days after the robbery. At trial, investigators accounted for approximately $17 million in recovered diamonds. The remaining $83 million in loose stones, cut diamonds, gold bars, and untraceable cash was never located. It has never been found. In a 2009 interview, Notarbartolo made a claim that Belgian investigators have never been able to disprove, that the robbery had been arranged by a diamond merchant operating inside the building, that the vault had been partially staged, the insurance claim was the real target, and that Notarbartolo's crew had been set up as the fall when the deal went wrong. The alleged merchant was never charged. The missing $83 million was never explained. Somewhere in a safe house, a buried container, or a private vault that has never been opened, there is $83 million worth of diamonds that once sat in Vault B1 of the Antwerp Diamond Center. The man who may have ordered the robbery was never named in open court. And the most secure vault in Europe, the one protected by 5 simultaneous alarm systems and a door rated to withstand 12 hours of attack, was emptied in a single weekend by 5 men and a set of aluminum screens. The next time someone tells you a system is impenetrable, remember this. If this story is worth your time, hit that thumbs up. It tells the algorithm this is worth showing to someone else. Subscribe to Spy Looters for more untold crime stories that most people have never heard of. Stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one.